Did the avoidant ever tell you this? That nobody has ever treated them this well before, that you gave them more love than anyone else in their life. And then, not long after saying just those exact words, they ended up walking away. They told you they weren't ready for a relationship, that they couldn't give you what you need, that they needed time, space, and healing. And you were left confused, hurt, and wondering how the same person who admitted you were the best thing that could ever have happened to them, you turned their life around, and then they ended up discarding you. Essentially, is what they did. Well, today I'm going to break down exactly why this happens, why avoidants often run from the very love that they say they've never experienced before, because it doesn't make sense. And most importantly, what it means for you and your healing. What's going on, my beautiful people? This is your certified life and relationship coach, Coach Court. 85% of you guys still aren't subscribed, so do me this favor, subscribe to the channel for more content like this. First, I want to talk about why their words were actually true. We're going to start there. When the avoidance said no one had ever treated them the way that you have, they actually weren't lying. They actually meant that, because avoidance often come from childhoods marked by emotional neglect. They weren't affirmed. They weren't nurtured. They didn't get that validation from their parents, the kind of consistency and care that helps a person build self-worth, because deep down, many of them carry this narrative about themselves, which is, I'm unlovable, I don't deserve real care and real love. So when someone like you shows up, someone who was attentive, present, and consistent, it doesn't feel safe to them. And we've talked about this over and over again. It doesn't feel like home. It feels threatening, because it exposes all the places in them that believe they're not enough. To the avoiding, your love feels so good and so terrifying at the same time. The fear of abandonment is usually one of the reasons why this happens, because it's actually a paradox. Most people don't really see this. Avoidance may look cold and detached, but under the mask is one of the deepest abandonment fears you'll ever find. Now, I see this happening more with the fearful avoidance also, but for the dismissive avoidance, it's very apparent. You can see that they have this internal conflict. And when you treat them well, their mind doesn't say, finally, I'm safe. It says, this won't last. Sooner or later, this person is going to figure out I'm not worth any of this, and they're going to leave me. That fear becomes unbearable. And instead of facing it, they flip the script on you. They run first. They discard you before you ever had the chance to reject them. And to protect themselves from that guilt, they usually rationalize it. They tell themselves, I can't give you what you deserve. You're better off without me. I need to heal before I can be in something serious. You might have heard those exact lines and wondering, well, why is it that this person doesn't want to stay in this relationship? Why is it that toxicity feels safer for them? There's another piece most people overlook. Avoidants often have a history of toxic or emotionally unavailable partners themselves. And strangely enough, those relationships feel safer to them. Why? Because toxic partners match their self-image. When someone neglects them or keeps them at arm's length, it reinforces what they already believe, that they don't deserve more. This is why so many of you guys end up hearing that heartbreaking line, you're the best thing that ever happened to me, but I still can't do this. They actually mean it. They know you're treating them better than anyone else they've ever had, but to their nervous system, it's not safe and it's overwhelming. So they sabotage it. They distance, they withdraw, and then they disappear. They convince themselves they're protecting you when really they're actually protecting their own fear. And it could be a little bit of both, if I'm being honest. But the reality is you're the one that's stuck holding the pieces when you didn't do anything wrong. You actually did everything right, which is why it ended up at this point. But the only thing that really matters for you is their discard is not proof that you weren't enough. In fact, it's the opposite. It's proof that your love was strong enough to stir up everything that they've been running from. You didn't scare them by being too much. You scared them by showing them a level of love that they didn't believe that they deserved. So stop blaming yourself, right? If you're doing that right now, please stop replaying every moment looking for the thing that you could have done differently. This is why so many people reach out to me. They felt like they failed, but you didn't fail them. they failed to receive what you had to offer. And this is something I really want you to buy into, because you have to understand what the avoidant feels. Avoidants don't leave without feelings. They don't just walk away and never think about you again, because I would think that'd be a sociopath. What they do is they suppress their feelings. They keep tabs on you through social media. They distract themselves with work, hobbies, or even that rebound relationship that we talk about. And then often weeks or months later, the silence gets louder than their fear. And I just had a client reach out to me about this exact scenario. That's when you'll see them circling back. That's why I have a call with this person soon to figure out what this circle back really means. But you have to understand, I'm going to tell this person, it's not because they've healed, but because they can't outrun that emptiness that lies within them. And if she's watching it now, please listen to this video. If you take anything else away from this video, though, let it be this. When the avoidant said, no one has ever treated me this well, they were actually telling the truth. But that is not your burden to carry, right? You didn't push them away because you were being too much. You didn't drive them out by being overly available. You simply revealed parts of themselves that they were trying to run from, and you were a mirror for those things. So the lesson isn't about how to win them back. The lesson is about remembering what your worth is, because if your love was too much for someone who couldn't hold it, that doesn't make you wrong. It makes you actually more powerful. And the fact that they told you no one has ever treated them that well is exactly proof of someone who is capable of deep, secure, lasting love. So if this video resonated with you, I want you to click the next video and let's continue healing together.